All right, so you set a goal and you want to grow your business. The problem, you don't have any money to advertise. What do you do? That is what we're going to talk about in today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Building the Brand. This week, like every other episode, we're talking about challenges that we are facing as a business and that you probably face as well. I want to start this episode by asking if you are like me, where it's easy at times to set goals, it's easy to make projections, it's easy to build spreadsheets of future revenue and future clients, and it's easy at times to just kind of sit back and hope and wait for the new clients to come. That's kind of where we've been. We know why we want 100 members in our membership platform. We know why we want to hit the goals, but we've had one really big problem. We do not have any advertising budget right now. So how are we going to hit those goals? How are we going to get new prospects, new leads, new customers here at StoryOn? How are we going to hit our goals that we need to hit with no advertising budget? This is a problem I've been diving into for the last week and that I've been thinking more about. And I think that there are 3 ways that we can generate new leads and new customers for StoryOn that I also think you could probably utilize as well. And that's what we want to talk about today. The reality is, with where we are at right now with StoryOn, we can't just sit around and act. If you didn't see last week's video, go and watch it. We talk about how we actually just lost one of our largest clients. And so, people talk about how desperation breeds inspiration. We've kind of been in one of those moments. It's really easy to set goals, but then we look in the mirror and realize, okay, we don't have an advertising budget. What are we going to do? The first thing that we're going to do to get more leads, and that I think you can do, this might sound simple, but use the internet. I don't mean go and start using Facebook ads or Google ads, because sometimes you just don't have the budget. We just don't have the money, and we can't make the money come out of nowhere for that. And so for us, I'm going to be spending more time actually doing the old-fashioned prospecting on the internet, doing research in our city and even in other communities of who is our target audience, who's our dream client that we have no shadow of a doubt that we can bring value to them. And I'm gonna reach out to them and try and start conversations. This is not about spamming. You don't just wanna go and tweet at 1 million people and say, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. But the internet is a huge opportunity to start conversations with the people that are actually our dream client and our target audience. I realize this is kind of hard because spam is such a real thing, but prospecting online is something that we are going to start doing a lot more. The second thing that we're going to do is look to our current network. I've been doing this for 4 years, and so there's a lot of people that I know, and this is probably the hardest one. It's much easier to go online and talk to strangers and pitch to strangers, because if they don't like you and they say no, you're probably never going to see them again. But it's hard for me to pitch to people I know. Much easier with strangers. But in this season where we're at, we know that we need new business. And we also, more importantly than that, we know that we have value to bring to our community. And so I'm gonna be looking at our network, looking at people we know, reaching out and making asks of how we can provide value, how we can provide our services to people in our current network. The third thing that we're gonna be doing to prospect and to get new leads in this time where we don't have any advertising budget is local networking. This might be meetup groups, this might be going out and knocking on the door of businesses. One of our largest clients, probably the largest company that we've ever done work with, we got because I went and knocked on their door and I wouldn't really leave. I went there 3 days in a row until I got to talk to the executive director of that company's foundation. And I said, hey, we want to do this project for you. He said, okay, sounds good. I respect your tenacity. And so that worked for us years ago. And it's easy to kind of get away from those things because they're nerve-wracking. But I think getting out into the community, shaking hands, meeting new people, finding out how you can serve them, there's nothing that beats it. That is so much of what the American dream of business and building your own business and building a local Main Street America business is built on, is getting out and meeting people and providing real value. And so those are 3 things that we're going to be doing in order to get new leads, get new customers in a time where we need to grow, but we have no advertising budget. And the reason we're doing this is because it creates momentum. We need momentum right now I know that if we can move from having 4 members in our membership site to even having 10 or 15 or 20 members, then that gives us one, a budget to advertise with, but it also just gives us momentum and margin to be able to pour more money into that. And so many of us as business owners are in that place where we just need that momentum. And sometimes what we're gonna have to do is do the things that are a little bit harder to get that momentum. And so for you, as you're watching this as a business owner, I want you to look at your network. Look at who do you know? And don't be afraid to reach out to the people that you know, because I know that there are so many of us that we have goals, but the reality is the place that we're in right now, we just might not have an advertising budget. We might not be in the place to be able to go and ask people for loans or investments to get that advertising budget that we need. But the truth is that there actually is hope. There's still ways we can grow our business. People have been growing their business without spending money on online advertising for a long, long time. And so I'm confident that the work that we're doing, that we can continue to grow it through the networks that we have. And if you can't sell your product or your service to people that you know, then I doubt that you should be selling it to people that you don't know online. And so I hope that you can journey with us this week as we look at these 3 things of how we can grow our business without any advertising budget. We'll see you next week.